Welcome to the conversation part of the Upper World podcast. She's making a return to the podcast. It's Olympic time, and it's also Olympic break in the NHL. Players are in Italy or either there or Cancun or somewhere warm at least. Helping us break down Olympic hockey for the USA and also talk about the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference. I'd like to welcome back to the show from D210 Sports in Dallas, Fort Worth, our favorite Vikings fan, Savannah Huemoeller. Savannah, how are we doing, and how are you spending the Olympic break, by the way?
We're great, Trevor. I cannot believe we're already at this time of year. That was a great introduction, besides the Vikings part, because they've failed me all season long. No one should have let Sam Darnold walk out of that building. I just need to say that.
You're allowed to say that too. We've kind of said that too. Like someone should be fired for that anyway. So
I'm like, hello, Kevin O'Connell. You're supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. Like, why did we let Sam Darnold leave the building? He's now a Super Bowl champ with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind. But it's been good. Olympic break. I just did the waste management tournament. So I was out there this last weekend. But other than that, I'm back in Dallas. I'm gearing up to watch all of the Olympics and Olympic hockey this week. And then we'll get back to the NHL regular season here soon.
Definitely. Just heads up, you may need Peacock because they bumped off Finland off national television for Peacock. So I had to buy Peacock this morning, by the way.
Oh, I watched it on Peacock today. I had to do the same thing.
I was like, what are we doing here? I was like, probably this would be 4K. Like, all right, I have to buy this thing. And it was $12 down the drain. All right, Olympic break is here. What are your thoughts on the super condensed schedule straight from the start, by the way? Did you feel like I didn't think it was like that for the Dallas St. Louis game on that Wednesday night? Did you just feel like the last couple games to the break was just a shit show, would you say?
Well, I believe that the Stars did a pretty good job in those games, considering they were able to hammer out like a few divisional wins, which was super necessary for the team at the time. Like the end of December and up until mid-January, they were having a rough time navigating just the team a little bit. They had some kind of ups and downs, and they had only won 2 games in 11 games. So that was something that was, 9 losses. They needed to kind of have a little bounce back. So towards that end of the stretch there before the Olympic break, Stars were able to kind of pick back up a little bit. They needed a little more energy. I saw some stuff from Matt Duchene. Finally, he was able to kind of find a good line with Sam Steele and Jamie Benn. So I think that's been working well for the team. But now you get into this Olympic break, and it's just kind of this weird time where it's like, this is the most fearful point for hockey GMs and coaches, because you have guys that are going out to the Olympics. You are hoping and praying that these guys do not get injured. And all these guys want to do is play for their country and get a gold medal. And then you have the rest of the team that is in Cabo, or as you said, Cancun, on a beach somewhere. And they probably take a little bit more time to really get acclimated back into the NHL regular season. And I'm sure we all know why. So,
yes. Or it could be like half the Florida Panthers or not. Wait, most of the Florida Panthers are in Olympics except for Bobrovsky, who's just chilling in South Florida anyway. So it could go either way how you look at it.
Right, exactly. It's like, the Russians, why can't we just have them back? Like, I would love to see a Russia-USA matchup, but we won't unfortunately get that this year.
You're speaking my language already. Are you bummed that there's no Russia team, by the way?
Yes, like I'm bummed. I'm bummed. Like, can the wait be over? Like, this needs to end. It's the Russians in the NHL, I think, are some of the most elite athletes. I mean, you look at Sergei Bobrovsky and what he's done for the Florida Panthers. Like, that man deserves to play in the Olympics. I'm sorry. Yeah. And I think it would just make the Olympics a little bit more competitive. You got to have Russia in the mix. It's always been a really awesome time when you did have Russia in the Olympics. And obviously it's, they're not there. I think it makes it more competitive, to be honest with you.
When you look at the Russian team, this is on ESPN and stuff, they said like Kaprizov would be on the team, Malkin, Kucherov, Val Nichushkin, Panarin, Ovechkin. It's literally a star-studded lineup anyways when you look at it. And like Vasilevsky's your starter, or you have like Bobrovsky or Shesterkin or Sorokin. It's literally the most top to down, the most depth roster I've ever seen before anyways.
Oh, Kaprizov playing out there for Team Russia. Like, can you imagine? I cannot imagine. Like, that would be so stacked.
It would be. It'll be the most entertaining. Like, be like if Russia's in, it's like Russia's in, USA's in, and it's Canada. Those are your top three teams. Like Finland and Sweden. Thanks. Like you're holding it up for Russia to be outright about. You would not even be in the top 5 at least. What do you say?
Oh, gosh, it's hard to say. I mean, you look at some of these teams now, and on paper, a lot of these teams look so great, and they have some really, really good contenders. But if you had the Russians in the mix, I mean, I think that they'd have one of the best teams on paper.
Definitely.
It's just a matter of what that team looks like, in person, the health of the team, obviously some of those players, how they line them up, everything like that. But, you have some really good teams so far in the Olympics. I like the way that things look, how some of these teams look. But yeah, we're definitely missing out on Russia.
Yes. I think I said it during the 4 nation things. Like, it's not really the 4 nations if you don't have Russia in it. Like, we need, like, the Russia, Canada, Russia, USA. Those are legendary rivalries. There's moments, there's documentaries about it, and there's no Russia team. It's like, come on, anyways. Like, get us back to the Cold War era almost. Not really, but
right.
Really.
I know. I'm like, I would totally just learn Russian to go, and if Russia was back in this, I would learn Russian to just go cover that team.
Oh. Not gonna lie, I thought about that one day. Like, learning Russian would be kind of useful sometimes. I don't know why, but
cool.
It would be. Like, everyone does French, cool. Spanish, German. It's like, let me learn Russian at least. That sounds more entertaining at least.
I think it'd be fun.
Absolutely. What was your other big thing? Like, I always think I look at all the things for Olympic is like, no Barkov's killing off it's a bummer for Finland because that team would have been stacked too anyways. As they played today, as we're recording this on a Wednesday night anyways. I feel like Finland would have been a fun team if you had Barkov like ranted in and you have Rope hits. That line would be a killer top line anyways.
Obviously, Team Finland, they're the defending gold medalists since, being back here in the Olympics. And I think with having, some of those guys on that Finnish team, I love the way the Finnish team is structured. I think they have so many great players. And I obviously think of the Dallas Stars players on that team, Mikko Rantanen, Miro Heiskanen, Rope Hintz, Esa Lindell. And then the mix also with Mikael Granlund, who now plays for the Anaheim Ducks, who previously played for the Stars. You got Joel Kiviranta in there too. They have some really, really good players, but I was a little surprised. Obviously, Slovakia took that win today against Finland. So, maybe it's just a matter of them trying to find, what it looks best for them, for their system. It's such a quick tournament that things happen so quickly. You can't make adjustments all the time. That's so, structured and can play out over time. Like, you have to make very, very quick adjustments and just hope they work in your favor. Team Finland, though, I like the way that they look, but Slovakia surprised me today. And Radek Faksa, one of those guys on Team Slovakia, who obviously is just so impressive, but that team has some really good athletes as well.
Definitely, for sure. Let's go to the USA roster. What would you say is the biggest snub on the roster? I think they did I said this on a podcast earlier. I think the roster construction was pretty crappy when you look at it, because I feel like they just merged the 4 Nations team with like whoever didn't make the World Championship team. Can we agree on that at least?
Yes, definitely. Like, I would say it's 90% of the same guys from the 4 Nations roster, obviously, last year. And I did like the way that team looked. I would say one of the biggest adds to this team this year is Tage Thompson.
Yes.
He is incredible. One of the best, I would say, forwards in the NHL. And for him to be added to this roster, I think that's going to give Team USA one of the biggest boosts that maybe they didn't have last year in the 4 Nations. And I know a lot of people have talked about the fact that Jason Robertson was not added to Team USA. I think that some other guys make up for that. I mean, look at the roster that Team USA has. You have the Tkachuk brothers, you have Jack Eichel, you have Tage Thompson now, you have some of the Hughes brothers in there. I think that just makes up so much of the roster. And I like the way that their system is all set up so far. I don't think Jason Robertson is the biggest miss, but I think Tage Thompson is one of the biggest adds that Team USA has this year.
I will say this, Robinson's the biggest stuff. I feel like there's way too, like, JT Miller, who's had a horrendous season. Like, why are we giving this guy a roster spot at least? That's my personal opinion. I feel like Robertson would have been on there. I think Alex Tuck would have been perfect there as well if he made the roster. Because I feel like those two are like would be like Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck, who've been known to play in big games when they were with the Vegas Golden Knights, but absolutely perfect on the big stage of the USA. And I just feel like that part. And also, I have a question mark with goalie. Who would you start, by the way? That's my other thing, too.
I would actually start Connor Hellebuck.
Okay.
And I only say that just based on the fact that I think that there's a lot of history when it comes to him and Team USA. There's a lot of trust in him as an athlete. Yeah, maybe he hasn't had the best season with the Winnipeg Jets, but you have to look at his record also from last year and what he also did in Four Nations and what he was able to do in even the postseason last year. I do like Connor Hellebuck. I would say Jake Ottinger. I chatted with him before the Olympic break. We did a sit-down interview together. He's outstanding. I think he is obviously your second guy there, and then Jeremy Swayman under him is the E-Bug. But yeah, all three goalies there. They're fantastic, but I think Connor Hellebuck is going to get the starting job.
I was kind of crazy. I was like, I would start Swayman because he actually won the World Championship for American for – I was like, it's the first time it ever happened since like the 30s. So it's like not a bad idea. Like if Hellebuck, who I haven't trusted all year because he has been injured. Like Swayman's having an incredible year this year. It's like start him and see what happens. You know, if they do bad, if it's versus Denmark or whoever, it's like, hey, Hellebuck, you earned it back at least. You know.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. And I think it's going to obviously like play out depending on how these preliminary games like go, whether they're going to do some type of goalie rotation, what they'll do in that area. I think each of the three goalies will get some type of playing time, but maybe if one guy is just outshining them all, they're going to start that guy for majority of the tournament. But I really love Jake Ottinger's attitude going into the Olympics. He's just so excited to be there. And to represent the United States. It's always been a dream of his. I got to chat with him a little bit about his goalie mask. He's doing a patriotic bald eagle theme.
All right.
So fans can look out for that. It's kind of simplistic, but he says that he collects all of his goalie masks and that this is probably going to be his favorite one yet. He's hoping that he'll get a gold medal to hang with it in his collection. So that would be ideal for Team USA.
What did you learn from that Jake Ottinger interview that you had on D210 Sports, by the way?
I just learned that, Jake, being a Team USA guy, he's played with a lot of these guys through juniors. He's known the team forever. He played with them, obviously, on Four Nations. He's so familiar with this team that he says it actually makes his job easier because he's playing with the best hockey players in the world right in front of him. He has the best of the best defensemen and then the forwards being able to go and score the goals. So he thinks that this job is so much easier for him being able to play with all these top athletes. But, he's outstanding. He got to walk in the opening ceremony. He said that was like a once in a lifetime moment for him. And he's just thrilled to be there.
Perk of having a late Wednesday game anyways, so you can go shoot on over to Italy. I like to say that for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I love it sometimes. That's pretty cool that he collects his goalie mask and he's really excited for that. I feel like those it's because I looked at their little schedule for the prelims. They play Latvia Thursday at 3:00, 2 Central. They play Saturday at 3, and then they play Sunday at 3:00 as well. They play Denmark Saturday and Germany on Sunday. What game do you think, Ottinger, if you had to pick, would you say you start versus Denmark or Germany? Would you say?
That's a good question. I would actually maybe go for Germany. The German team, you have Leon Draisaitl, who is one of their top shooters, top scorers, obviously for the Edmonton Oilers. He's had his time against Jake Ottinger, and I think Jake has done a really good job at sometimes blocking some of those shots. He's let in a few from Leon Draisaitl that I've seen before, some of the best shots I've ever seen. But I like that matchup. I know Philip Grubauer, he'll be probably starting for Team Germany in the net, so that's fun for him. I think that'd be a really fun matchup for Jake Ottinger to start in.
Be a nice ex-Central Division matchup anyways for the national stage anyway, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
What's your expectations, would you say? Gold? Is this gold or bust, would you say?
It's got to be gold or bust. I mean, these guys want a gold medal at the end of the day. Look at what Team USA women's hockey is doing.
Yes.
They just had 3 consecutive wins. They shut out Team Canada yesterday 5-0. The women's team is just going for the kill here. They want the gold. I would hope that the men's team, they're going to match that energy. And so it is gold or bust at this point. And I think last year with Team USA and Team Canada playing in that 4 nations and it coming down to the wire and Team Canada taking care of that, I think that Team USA here, they really want to get a snub and get a gold medal. And that's the goal at the end of the day.
I still say this is I feel like this is the people are saying the best roster the USA's had since 2002. 2006 was old and you didn't have a goalie, and 2010 was another great shot, but it's 2002 I always say is the best roster anyways. I feel like people are saying that as well. It's all right, if we could say it's the best roster, let's just win the effing thing anyways.
Right. And it's just difficult because you don't know necessarily how these other teams are going to stack up. And it could really be anyone's game. I mean, Team Canada, I was looking at some of their, lineup and what they had in practice today. And I think they're a tremendous team. I mean, they have some of the biggest talent that you'll ever see in the NHL on that Team Canada roster. But Team USA has had a lot of development over the past few years, and it's even in their juniors and what they do through Team USA and USA Hockey. I think that they've developed a really, really good roster for this year, and it is gold or bust.
Yes, it is gold or bust. I've been saying that it's gold or bust. I don't care if Canada is if Canada doesn't make the gold medal game, it's a crime, and there'll be mourning up there anyways. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Team USA, they're going to put all their effort out there on the ice. I fully believe that. But also then again, you have teams like Team Finland. Yes, they lost today against Latvia, but I do not doubt that Mikko Rantanen is coming for people's necks in the next game. So Team Finland, they're the defending gold medalists. So they're going to come at people. I'm going to say that.
Definitely. And also, as we currently recording this, it's 3-2 Sweden over the Italians right now. So that's the big.
I like that. I kind of like that. Sweden. That's fine.
Yeah. Sweden and Italy. Let's get back to the Central Division. What's been the best? Would you say this is the best division in hockey this year? Because you have Avs are going to probably win the President's Trophy, and the Minnesota Wilds are the darling of the NHL since they won the Quinn Hughes sweepstakes. Would you say the Dallas Stars are under the radar? Would you say?
I would say that the Dallas Stars are trying to find their game right now. Okay. And that's just based on the fact that being in some of these press conferences the last few games and what Glenn Gulletson has kind of talked about is that teams right now are going to stop making a lot of adjustments. This is when teams need to find their game because they need to be able to get into that zone. And that's where March really comes into play. April comes along, and that's when you're going to start seeing these teams start to stack up a little bit. The competition right now is so tight in the Central Division. Minnesota and the Stars, they've been neck and neck. It's just been back and forth for the past few weeks. And it's almost like a point, process. These guys are looking for their points and to stack up. But I believe the Avs are obviously going to win the President's Trophy. I think they're one of the best teams in the league. They do not surprise me if they will go all the way down the stretch here. They have been unbelievable. The Stars, I think, just need to find their game a little bit more. And I don't know if it's going to wrap up in that second spot or that third spot. But the Minnesota Wild, especially getting Quinn Hughes, they've switched their system around a lot. And they've had a lot of really good wins in the past few weeks. So it's going to be really tough between those two.
Yeah, the Stars start off right out the gate after the Olympic break. They play Seattle at home, and they have 2 days off, play Nashville, and then they go to Western Canadian for Vancouver and Calgary. I think those are good. See what's going to happen on those road trips. And you have Colorado coming back after the road trip. So I think that's truly a big test and truly entertainment of the games for those start the season off. Restart the season.
Yeah, and then not only that, but we have the NHL trade deadline on March 6th. You would think that Jim Nill is probably going to come in at some point and look at his assets with this team. What makes sense? Where can they add? Where can they subtract? It is kind of difficult, but this is the time where you may need to make some roster moves to get to the point where you could go into a postseason and potentially win a cup. And I think what the Dallas Stars did last year with getting Mikko Rantanen and them getting into that Western Conference championship game, you're able to, do that because you have Mikko Rantanen. But the Stars will have to decide what they maybe need to give up in order to make it to the finish line this year, because having 3 consecutive Western Conference championship appearances and not making it to that final, that's a big conversation. How can you get to that point? And it may be making a trade before that March 6th deadline that does it for the Stars.
What do you think, if you were in Jim Nill's shoes, what's the big move that you think that the Stars need the most anyways?
It's tough because I think you maybe need to add some type of defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
I think that group has been the hardest to work with this year. They were so great, last season, but Thomas Harley had to step up big time in order for Miro Heiskanen to kind of heal. And I think he did a great job during the year last year, and then getting Miro Heiskanen back during the postseason, that really helped. But, I think it's just a matter of you have guys like Ilya Lyubushkin and Nils Lundqvist that maybe haven't been as the biggest standouts as they maybe were last year. Nils Lundqvist, he also missed some time with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think you need to look at that group and evaluate what makes sense for the Stars and who can maybe be, of value in the postseason. Like, who's going to really step up during those big moments. You're also going to get Stars defenseman Lian Bichsel back here after the Olympic break. So that's going to be big for the Stars. But I think you maybe need to add one more guy into the mix.
I feel you. Obviously, I look at the calendar for March. They play Colorado twice and Minnesota as well. So I think those would be the marquee games. And also, you can't bury Edmonton or Vegas at all. So you get some true entertainment on there. You get Vegas twice and you have Utah. So truly, truly entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I like this.
It's been crazy year. But all the hockey, talk to me in March. That's where I think everyone is like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Like, where are we at? Blah, blah, blah. But March and April is where it truly, truly counts. And that's where everyone really starts paying attention to what goes on. And you have to find your team in those months before you hit the postseason.
Definitely, for sure. One league thing. I saw the NHL was asking for early renewals on their TV deals, and TV networks told them to go away. What's the biggest problem you think with the what would you aim for TV networks for NHL right now? Would you say?
Like which specific network?
Yeah, because I saw they went to ESPN and TNT, asked for early renewals, and they told them like not right now.
I think it's just tough all around. These teams are trying to find ways to keep their media rights and not give things up. Like, I love the process of what the Stars have done with Victory Plus TV and really making it their own system. The Anaheim Ducks are on their account as well. But with the NHL overall, like it really could go any way. I don't think that the NHL has liked what ESPN has done the past few years. It's kind of been wonky, and you even see that in the postseason. Like, you get some of these games and you don't even know who's calling the game. And I just think that maybe the NHL needs to come up with some more creative angles, and some of these teams are probably upset that they're not getting such highly anticipated matchups more so than some other teams. So you have to kind of take things into your own hands sometimes.
Definitely, for sure. Tell me what's going on in your Substack. I subscribe to it. It's great work as always, especially the exclusive interviews. Tell people why you should always subscribe to Sports Savvy.
You know what? I like to do more storytelling on these. I like to put in a little bit some of my own perspective, but I like sharing stories on some of these guys that are a little more personalized. I can go into a locker room and interview so-and-so about the season or ask them kind of the basic questions. But I like sharing details that maybe people don't know about these guys and their day-to-day lives and things that they deal with behind the scenes. I'm working with a ton of different athletes right now on some behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm working with some Cowboys players on some upcoming stories. And I think a lot of these guys have so many stories to tell. and they just haven't been asked the right questions sometimes. And so I like being able to be that voice that can go and share some stuff. I wrote a really good story on Alex Petrovic and his dad, who is battling cancer right now, and how it's probably one of the most prominent stories in the Dallas Stars locker room, with Hockey Fights Cancer, and one of those guys that the players even mention. And so it's great to be able to share different stories and hopefully be able to touch some people and teach some people some stuff.
Which is very awesome. I like to see that on my Substack feed. So, Savannah, where
Thank
can everyone
you.
follow? You're welcome. Where can everyone follow you and subscribe to you, by the way?
You can follow me on my Substack. It's Sports Savvy. Most of my taglines are Sports Savvy on Instagram and on X. And yeah, I do a lot of work, obviously, in the Dallas area, cover lots of different sports here in Texas. So it's been great. But yeah, those 3, Instagram, Twitter, and Substack, are my main ones.
That is awesome. So please go subscribe to her. She does wonderful work. I subscribe anyways. So definitely. Savannah, we'll talk to you in March. How about that? Since the trade deadline will be then anyways.
Hey, once that trade goes down, get me back on, because I'll be there to talk about it.
For sure. All right.